On August 27, 2020, Robert Duboise walked free, after spending almost 37 years in prison for a 1983 rape and murder he did not commit. Duboise was released after new DNA testing of the crime scene evidence. In October 1983, Duboise was arrested for the rape and murder of a 19-year-old woman, based solely on unreliable bite mark evidence. No other physical evidence linked Duboise to the crime. The state's theory at trial was that Duboise, his brother Victor Duboise, and friend Raymond Garcia, sexually assaulted and killed the victim. Though only Duboise was arrested and prosecuted for these crimes. The only additional evidence introduced at trial that supported this theory came from a jailhouse informant. In March 1985, a jury convicted Duboise of capital murder and attempted sexual battery, and recommended a life sentence, but the judge overrode the recommendation, and sentenced Duboise to death. He served 3 years on death row, before the Florida Supreme Court. Duboise was sentenced to life for the murder, and 15 years for the attempted sexual battery to run consecutively. In the early morning of August 19, 1983, a young woman's body was found behind a dental office in Florida. The woman had been beaten and sexually assaulted. During the medical examiner's autopsy, he found a pattern injury on the victim's face that was determined to be a human bite mark. Detectives sought out the opinion of a second odontologist, Dr. Richard Suviron, who advised police to start collecting bite mark impressions from potential suspects. During the detectives' canvass, Duboise was identified as a person of interest, after a local resident told police that he caused problems at their regular hangout. Duboise, who had never been convicted of a violent crime, fully cooperated with police, and allowed them to take a mold of his teeth. Dr. Suviron concluded that it was a match, and detectives immediately arrested Duboise, who, at the time, was only 18 years old. Innocence Project began investigating Duboise's case in 2018, due to both the unreliable informant testimony and flawed bite mark analysis on which the case rested. In 2019, the Innocence Project reached out to the Conviction Review Unit, CRU, at the Office of the State Attorney for the 13th Judicial Circuit in Tampa, to begin a joint reinvestigation based on new evidence on the jailhouse informant, and concerns about the discredited bite mark evidence. As part of this effort, both parties worked collaboratively to reinvestigate this crime. By 2018, it was well known that bite mark evidence had led to wrongful convictions. During the reinvestigation, Dr. Adam Freeman, a forensic odontologist, reviewed the bite mark evidence and testimony in this case.
He concluded that the original bite mark conclusions are unsupported by science and, most critically, found that, although two experts at trial concluded that the pattern injury was a bite mark, the injury in this case was in fact not a bite mark. In 2006, Duboise sought post-conviction DNA testing, but an evidence search at the time revealed that all evidence admitted at trial, which included evidence collected as part of the rape kit, was destroyed in 1990. In 2020, despite previous assurances that all the biological evidence from the rape kit was destroyed, slides from the victim's autopsy were also found at the medical examiner for Hillsborough County. DNA testing showed that DNA from two males was present and excluded Duboise, Victor Duboise, and Raymond Garcia. The DNA profile was entered into Cody's and matched to an individual who had no connection to Duboise.